Welcome to Iona's Iotas, where the tiniest iota can make the biggest difference. Today I am joined by hypnotherapist, high performance coach, and Her Royal Highness, the Queen of Calm, Amanda Trainer. Welcome, Amanda.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here.
Yay!
It's exciting, it's so good.
I'm so happy to have you. We've known each other for many, many years now, and we've both been on a fantastic and exciting journey of self-discovery and just really kicking butt is what we've been doing. Well, what you've been doing, certainly.
Thank you.
So today we're going to have a wee chat about your journey and what inspires you, your passion, and just really get to know you a wee bit more, because you've helped me a lot through my journey, and you help a lot of people, certainly in Scotland and all over the UK, who are perhaps feeling a little bit less than awesome. So if you want to describe your journey so far, Amanda, so where you began, your roles, your projects and your passions.
Okay, so where I began was not so great beginnings, I suppose, in some respects. So I grew up in like a really rough area in Glasgow, the Red Road Flats, but they blew them up, which was probably a good thing. So I grew up there. I didn't have a bad life at all, just me, mum, dad, sister, usual kind of, I don't know, it was kind of normal back then, but yeah, mum and dad split up when we were about 10, I think it was. So I would sort of bounce between the two parents' houses. I was kind of just allowed to do whatever I wanted, which I don't know if that was a good thing or not. I suppose the next biggest thing that happened in my life was I got pregnant at 16, as you do. My mother loved that one. I actually posted a letter through our letterbox to tell her because I was too scared. I know, right? So I had Tegan when I was 17, so I was a baby, having a baby. So I had a baby at a house, like I had nothing basically. But still, it was kind of normal, so I didn't know I had nothing because everybody around me was just in the same boat. Had Tegan, and yeah, it was quite hard actually for the next 7 or 8 years. But I always I had this thing in me that I always thought, like, my friends were all getting jobs and making money and sort of getting on, and I used to think, right, I've got a baby. Like, childcare was not a thing back then. She's 17 now, so like back then it wasn't much help. But I thought, right, if I can just get more education, if I go to courses, if I try and build my skills up, then one day when she's a big girl, you know, I can then sort of go out and do what I want to do. So I did do that. I trained in everything. I was a holistic therapist. I became a makeup artist. I was rubbish at everything. And I know that's because they weren't my things, you know. I wasn't really that interested in them. But one of the best things to ever happen to me was when I was 19, she was 2, and I used to always be on the hunt for courses and things like that. So there was this young parents group, and it was in Royston. So I went along to that, and it was like you would take your child, so they had childcare, so they made it very accessible for young mums. I was a bit on in terms of the other girls who were there were like 16, 17, and they had just had their babies, whereas I was 19. I'd been to a few courses, you know. Tegan was 2. Anyway, long story short, they used to teach you things, so cooking skills and debt, funnily enough, not how to make money, but how to manage debt. But the last section of this course, this man came in called Jim Bowman. Never forget him. I'm still trying to hunt him down because he literally changed my life. I know he's from Green Up Gourock area, so if anybody knows him, that'd be cool to kind of get that.
What's his name? What's his name?
Jim Bowman.
Jim Bowman, right. Jim Bowman, if you're out there.
So basically, Jim Bowman came in and he was delivering this 6-week course on personal development, right? I'd never heard of this. Like, do you know, just that was just the way life was. And he was saying to me, You know, your current circumstances don't have to determine where your life ends up. When you change your thoughts, when you set goals, and you can imagine, I literally had nothing. Like, we had hee-haw. And so this was like, you're joking. Like, it was like a bit of hope is basically what this man offered me. So we're going through the course. We get to the last day, and Jim sees this light bulbs went off in me. Everybody else didn't really seem that bothered about it, but something in me, you know, resonated with it in my vibration. So the last day, he's like, Amanda, go and get this book. He's like, don't ask me any questions, just go to Waterstones and get this book. So I did. So the book was The Secret, right? And The Secret now is like years ago, you know, but back then it was a big thing. You know, what The Secret had missing was it never told you to take action. I learned that later on. But what it did teach you was how to change your thoughts and like the law of attraction. So I got 2 buses down to Waterstones, grabbed the book, sat down a beanbag, and the next thing I knew I was getting tapped on the shoulder. They're like, pal, you need to leave. But I never had the money to purchase it that day. Like, I literally had no money. I had my bus there. So every day for the next 2 weeks, I would go and get the buses and read a chapter, read, like, just as much as I could, basically, until I got paid, right? So it was like payday, I got the book. That then became like my life. So every day since, like, we're going back 15 years. So that led me into lighting Bob Proctor, and that led me into meeting you, and that led me into studying opera, and it just went on and on and on and on and on. But the thing that The Secret was missing was the action part. So I never took action. So I was this wealth of knowledge for like 7 or 8 years. This went on. I never changed my environment. I never, you know, did loads of things. I had loads of people around me that, you know, wasn't serving me and stuff like that. So went through life, nothing was changing for the first 7 or 8 years. I'm probably being a bit tough on myself there, but in comparison to now, I'm like, geez, oh, like, whatever. But it was all part of the journey. So I just kept learning, applying, learning. Met Stevie, my partner, when I was 27, and that's really when things took a really good turn for me, because he was the first person to believe in me. And he'd be like, you're amazing. You can do that. Why are you not doing that? Go and do this. And he threw me into like loads of different stuff. So I was ended up on television, done all this kind of stuff. Try to just not ramble too much about certain parts. So basically the long story short is I started to take action. I moved area as well. I literally, people that was in my environment at the time, they used to think that it was, you know, she's got a boyfriend, she's moved away and she's, you know, ditched everybody. It really actually wasn't. But what had happened is I changed my environment. And I started being like, I need to get my shit together. I need to be a proper mother. I need to go on this, you know, go out and do what I want to do and stuff like that. So things really started to turn around at that point. Started doing more things that were for me, not everybody else. Going in courses, all that sort of stuff. Next biggest thing that happened was we became pregnant, and then unfortunately my wee baby passed away. But what I realised was all of that studying of the mind and programming, or like studying, learning, all the books, everything that I did, it was actually to get me through this point in my life, which was horrendous. Like, it was horrible. Worst thing could ever happen to anybody. But by this point, I had understood somehow that you can either let that kill you or make you. So we were quite lucky in the fact that we were quite headstrong. We knew, you know, he was the same. He sort of was into all this stuff as well. So we knew that we could use it. So we started drawing on that experience, and we're like, no, your life is going to matter. Like, we started using it. Moving that into at his funeral, I literally was like, if I can do this, like, I can do anything. I became fearless. Like, I have this rod that runs through me, and I'm just like unshakable. Like, even if I shake a wee bit, like, I come back because I know what I've overcame, you know. So so I went, right, what have I always wanted to be? Like, I've had a list of goals, and yes, my life did improve, you know, before that, when I was taking more action. However, it wasn't massive amounts. But at that moment, I was like, what do I really want to be? I'd been watching a lot of Marissa Peers, and through all this studying of the mind, it was a bit like, I watched this one video and she was like, hypnosis goes to the root, and no matter, I kept hearing it more and more, and it was like, no, it's hypnotherapy, you know, CBT and all the rest of it, it's sort of like a band-aid, but hypnotherapy goes to the root and rips it from there. So I was like, watched this video on her, and I was like, right, that's what I need to be, that's what I'm going to do. Whereas before, I'd had the thoughts, but I was like, I don't have the money, you know, I had all these excuses, but now I was like, I can literally do anything type of thing. Booked the course, leaving the crematorium. Wow. Began the course. So that happened in the May, started the course in September, found the money, funnily enough. You know, everything just seemed to happen. So I trained for a year, and, you know, I'd been studying this stuff for 15 years, and like so basically, I think in my whole class, it's only me that's practicing, because it is quite difficult actually to get into the industry. You know, you're working with people's minds, but I've always known that this was what I should be doing, because the amount of people that I've helped and along the way, it makes me feel good, and I always go with how I feel. Long story short, it came time for me to sell the baby stuff. I had prams, cots. I was like, right, I need to, you know, this isn't good having this around. So I put it in Gumtree, you know, universal laws conspiring in my favour. Got this inquiry from somebody in Kilmarnock, and she's like, oh, I like your pram, can I buy it, kind of thing. So yeah, I was like, aye, okay. So driving to Kilmarnock, gets this thought, oh, my pal Julie lives in Kilmarnock, I've not seen Julie for a couple of years, let's get in touch. Phones her up, she's like, I'm free, let's meet up, we'll have some lunch. Sat and had lunch with her, and but she never even knew anything. She never knew that I was a hypnotherapist at this point. She never knew a lot of stuff about me, because I hadn't seen her. And started telling her what it was all about, and she went, you're never going to believe, but I've met this woman. I seen her at a talk months ago. Julie's a private, what do you call the people that book your holidays?
Travel
Personal
agent.
Travel agent, right? So she goes to a lot of networking events for her business, and she said, there's this woman, she said, I've never seen anybody speak like her before. She's so authentic. I can't get her out of my head. And she's a hypnotherapist. She's like, you need to meet her. I'm like, to be honest, my head was in other things. I never even really took it in. So she went, but I've not seen her for months. She went, but next time I see her, I'll let her know what you're up to and things like that. I think, that'd be good, thank you. So next morning, my phone goes, you're never going to believe who was at that networking event last night. Mo Farrington. So this is the mentor, right? This is the mentor who I'll get into. Actually, I've not mentioned I met a mentor yet, but so she met Mo, and she was like, oh, you need to give him a card, you need to this, you need to that, you need to the next thing. I was like, oh, that is great. Still never actually fully took it on, to be honest. But she sent me a picture, a business card anyway. And it was a few days later, maybe even a few weeks, that I thought, I'm going to have a wee look into this lady. Googled her, and I was like, whoa, she's who I've been manifesting my whole life, you know what I mean? I was like, she's her own radio show, she was the head of the Scottish Hypnotherapy Foundation, she was everything that I wanted to be, basically, in a person, and 20 plus years in the industry, and she wanted to talk to me type of thing. So I was like, wow, this is cool. So as I've always done, as you know me so well, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm very true and authentic, and I'm just like, so I emailed her, this is who I am, this is what I want to do. Is there any way I can help you? Can I get around you? Like, can you mentor me? Like, I just went for it, because out of all the books that I've read, what they all had in common, all these gurus, was that get a mentor, get a mentor, get a mentor, get a mentor. So I finally took action like years later and got a mentor. and she was like, right, honey, this is what we'll do. And, you know, even our emails were hypnotic. And I was just so in love with this woman, still am. Initially we were only supposed to get four mentoring sessions. But once we met, you know, we really connected. You know, she's opened so many doors for me. Within a month, she was having me privately coach in rooms with like masters of hypnotherapy from all over the world. She opened up her practice to me and like brought people in and, you know, watched me as I kind of did my work. So I just wouldn't have met her had I not gone through the bad. So that was really good. So that's my beginnings, and how I've ended up in this space. Next you asked, what was it about my roles?
Yeah, your roles and your passions.
Yeah, I'm really passionate about leading by example and about giving people what I've had, because there's no point in me just feeling good and relaxed and happy. I feel like the two things that I've mastered that I want to pass on, that I'm passionate about, is I've learned not only how to train my brain, which is I'm creating a podcast now, you know, I want this out to your normal everyday people, but having filtered all the stuff that I don't want out along the way, I have learned to like who I am, and I've learned to like myself, and I believe it's an art actually, but it's one that I just always want to give. And I'm doing a couple of things later on in the year. I've got a 4-day retreat happening, not quite confirmed location or dates, but that's what I'm going to be teaching while I'm there, is the art of liking yourself. So, but my role was to just lead by example, because I've learned you can't change people. You can't be like, you need to do this, you need to do that. You need to be that person, and then they're like, oh, what has she got? What's she doing? I want that. Can you help me?
Absolutely. And Amanda, what I love about you so much is your authenticity, your bravery, and your ability to really, like, for people to really see you as who you are, and you not giving a crap. Like, you just be so like, just, you know what, like, this is who I am, and you can like it or don't like it, whatever. I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna love what I do. And I think it's so fundamentally important as an example to set for other women, and especially for young mums as well, or and teen mums, who there's so much pressure on them to do certain things and be certain things and look this way or and act this way.
Yeah.
In actual fact, it's like, you are the most important person in your universe, so you have to make sure that you are good before anyone else is good, before your children are good. If you're not in a good frame of mind, if you're not feeling at your best, then no one around you is going to feel at your best. And I love the fact that you make feeling good such a priority in your life. Is so inspiring to see, and it gives others permission to do the same, and I think that's so magical and wonderful, and yeah, it's so exciting. So your passion and your inspiration. So your passion is setting by example, but what inspires you?
Yeah, so I just want to mention about what you were talking about there. That mostly comes from, I've got Tegan, obviously, so
Yeah.
I need to show her the right way, you know. I need to put up unperfect pictures and all that sort of stuff, because really none of that crap matters anyway. And as you like yourself more and drain the swamp of negativity and whatever, you do give less Fs. Like that's how it all comes about. But my inspiration is, I just think we're so powerful. Like me, you, and everybody is the power, that the control that we actually have over what happens to us is 95% up to us. Actually, people think that, you know, they're constantly reacting to the outside, but I just get the fact that I've done this to myself. I'm so unrecognisable to who I once was because I did the work. So brain training. So I'm really, my inspiration and my passion is about, I want everybody to feel this good, basically. Everybody deserves to be happy, ultimately. When it comes down to it, that's what it is.
I absolutely agree. And you are Scotland's brain trainer. You really are. Like, you're giving Scotland the tools, the accessible tools to get to know their grey matter, which is so powerful.
And it's so much easier, I think, than what people realise, which is why I need to get it out there, because it is easy. Gosh, some of the simplest things you can do, just speaking to yourself better will change your brain and what you attract back to you. Like, it's so simple. It's just that it does take work. I've worked myself every day for 15 years, but it can be quick. I went the long route. I've done the hard stuff.
Exactly. Now you're able to show people
Shortcuts.
the shortcuts, because you've done the graph. The graph. Amazing. I love it, Amanda. So what are your thoughts on and opinions on where society, life and the world is headed?
I think that actually we're headed in the right direction. I'm going to say that, but aren't I? I think we're evolving as people. What really surprises me in life, and you could call it, not annoys me because I don't think about it, but if I could articulate, is I'm shocked at how little people question things. But if there's anything that I've noticed through this time, it's that people are starting to question authorities and all that sort of stuff. But also, as an add-on, I think people should use that into their past. Start questioning your beliefs as well. Like, where did I get that? Maybe that's not true. Use it and let it seep into all parts. So I think we're definitely seeing, I mean, when me and you started out 10 years ago or whatever, like, it was only me and you, we were the weirdos. Like, we couldn't tell anybody that, you know, how we were thinking, and that we meditated and we see, like, done life coaching and all that sort of stuff. But now more and more people are realising the drugs don't work, you know, the doctors need us to be that way to get paid and all that sort of nonsense. That really we need to go within to change things. So yeah, I just want more people to question, keep doing what they're doing, start questioning everything, and I think that's how we'll get through it.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. And the really exciting thing that I'm so pumped about is that coaching, wellness, positive mental health, this is $1 billion industry that's literally just starting out. So if anyone who's watching who loves helping others and gets so much joy and satisfaction and excitement from helping others, as we do, as yourself, Amanda, and as I do, it's really beneficial to note that this industry that's just starting out is highly untapped, and there's there's lots of resources coming out to get people set up in their coaching businesses. So talk about your business, talk about your studio, your hypnosis studio, your hypnotherapy studio, and what you do.
So I basically relax people for a living. I basically got my own wee place in Glasgow, and I just love it. Like, it was also something that I attracted. It was so synchronicity, it was unreal. And I shared that with an osteopath, and we just hit it off. It was great. So people come there and they see me, and I help them find solutions to their problems. So I deal with so many different kinds of people for so many different kinds of issues, and it's amazing. Like, I love it. I do 2-hour sessions because I feel like it adds value to the person. It takes the pressure off, and I'm just so in love with this, what I do. Like, I go into their world for like the days that I'm there, my life doesn't exist. I am just encapsulated into who they are, and sort of I just guide them out of the state that their mental state. But as you say, it is an untapped industry in a sense, because the influx of demand for my services in this time was getting overwhelmed, because I physically couldn't manage the amount of people that were asking for me. So I hate to see suffering, and I was like, how do I do this? How do I solve this problem while people are maybe waiting an appointment with me, or so that I don't need to say no. So I've started up weekly classes, so 2 days a week, people jump on a call, and it's just like wee top-up sessions for their mental health, so that they come out of lockdown like not worse than what they went into it. So if your mental health was already in a not so good place, then you know this kind of had a really bad negative effect on these people. So they're going amazing. Like, I'm so pleased with them. I'm having so much fun. The feedback has been incredible. I've made it highly accessible, so it's a £5. You know, most people can afford that. They're in the comfort of their own houses, so a lot of people are telling me that they love it because they don't need babysitters. You know, they can sit on their own couch, and if they don't like it, they don't need to come back. Like, it's very much a drop in, drop out, but everybody's came every week so far. So yeah, I can really see that ending up being a thing for me, and I love it. Like, the biggest surprise to me in lockdown has been how powerful what I do is still as powerful online. Like, it's incredible.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because we, like, you love your studio, I love your studio. Your studio is amazing, and that zone, that environment, that energy that you create in the studio is phenomenal. But you can go on a beach, you can lie on you can be anywhere and run a class and run a workshop for people all over the world. They don't have to be in Scotland, and that's the most magical thing about this time that we're experiencing. Oh, wait a minute, I don't have to go into the office like every day. I can be quite
flexible.
Very flexible and nomadic in terms of moving around and being able to work with the technology that we have. So it's really, really exciting. And so I'm going to put links at the bottom of this video for your services. So if anybody wants to join in on your calls, like, I would highly recommend it. They're wonderful. I've been a fan of yours, obviously, Amanda, since we first met like 10 years ago, whenever it was. I think it was like 2011, 2012. Because we met at a personal development course. I think it was like a Bob Proctor style course.
That's right.
And and I remember just being like, sitting across the room from you and being like, who is this girl? Where did she come from? Oh my God! Like, do you know what I mean? And then obviously, like, we I think you gave me a lift home a couple of times because we live quite close to each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, we literally were in, and I was like, drive slower, because I wanted you to just like, because we were having such a good chat, and you were literally the only person I'd ever met that I could talk about this stuff to, like attraction, the universal laws, being able to create your own reality, the fact that, like, working on your conversations that you have with yourself and stuff like that, stuff that I have really found so beneficial in my life. And when I met you, I was like, oh, yes, like, oh, so excited. And watching you grow and watching your business grow has been so exciting for me to observe. And
I feel exactly the same. Like, when I think of us back then and now, and you've helped me so much as well, you know. Oh, remember, you used to come in as a practice patient and hypnotise Fred the cat.
Hypnotise my cat. Yeah, absolutely. We have problem pets, catch people, like, seriously, like, not that Fred was ever a problem, but as a kid. So what are your plans then? What are your plans and goals? What have you got planned? I know you've got your retreat plans, but tell us, excite us about what all this fun stuff that you're up to.
Well, the most exciting thing for me just now is this podcast, because this is my life's work. This is me actually doing what I'm here to do, which is get it out to the masses, give the people the tools that they can change their life with. So I'm I'm so in love with this podcast process. So I've just launched the trailer. I'm on Apple Podcasts. It's all just Mrs. Brain Trainer. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. And yeah, I've got really exciting things actually coming up in it that I can't mention just now. But I know I'm not even that good at keeping secrets. I know. But I really see that as just everything that I am is sort of coming under that umbrella. I'm also turning my weekly classes into every month I'm going to have 4 or 5 people, keep it small and intimate, like mini mind spa days at the practice where people come for the morning and they relax and they get a real masterclass in their brain and how to change it. Then have a nice clean lunch, maybe something like that. Make it again really accessible, price-wise, time-wise, day-wise. So we've got that going on. The retreat's going to be unreal. I'm actually doing it with a Scottish actor. He is all about authenticity, and I've been in a few of his courses that completely changed my life as well. So him and I have got together and we're going to do 4 days in a nice castle in Scotland or something like that. That's what we're looking into. I know, nice castle over here.
Love a castle. So yeah.
Really, I'm just improving. I'm just improving myself every day. I just feel so good. Like life right now it's really good. Everything, I've designed it the way I want it. I spend my time doing things that I love, and I engage with people who lift me and I lift them, and I'm just helping more people every day. It's like amazing. Like just seeing that change, it's just unreal.
It's so fun to watch. It really is. And it's so wonderful because you're giving others the permission and you're giving others the space to do it with themselves, and feeling good and enjoying life is what it's all about. And this time that we've been given, this lockdown time that we've been given, you can either use it to empower yourself and make the shift, or you can go into victim mode. And I think that it's really, really important that we use this time to shift our dominant negative emotions and our perceived problems and issues, whether that is money or mental health or physical health or whatever it is. And there's so many tools, and that's one of the reasons why I started this video podcast, was because there's so many tools out there, practical tools that we can use and that you have used and I have used every day for the past 15, 10, 20 odd years. So Amanda, could you share with us a practical tip or some practical tools that people can use right now to feel better?
I think what I've learned over the years is that the first step is we need to detox. We need to get the crap out before we build on it. Otherwise, it's going to show up later on. So something that I found incredibly useful to do was, and you don't really feel good at the time when you're doing it, to be honest, but it's so worth it, is listing everything that you no longer want or accept. So, and you need to be really frank and honest with yourself. Like, you know, we're in a time where you just have to be that. So if you don't want to be angry, and then you maybe think of experiences that are linked to that anger, and you don't want this, and you don't want this, and you don't want that, list absolutely everything that you no longer want, shifting into this new sort of way of living that we're going into. And then once you've got your list, you can go on YouTube, or Iona will do some tapping, but basically you tap out all of the things that you no longer want. So you're starting to clear that. So it's like a clearing session. So you're going to put your list down of everything that you no longer want, and then you're going to tap it all out, tap on each thing. I'll just do the Robert Smith technique. It's Robert Smith you'll find on YouTube if you want to tap everything and anything out. He's just next level guy. Everything he does is basically everything every coach does rolled into one technique, which is this tapping. It's a personal empowerment technique. It gives you freedom. Then you're going to list what you do want. So we tap out what we don't want. You're going to tap every single thing. So it does take time, and just love yourself enough to get that crap out, because once it's out, it's out. It's better when it's out than festering inside. And then you'll have a list of what you do want. So once you've got that as well, and Robert Smith is where I get this from, is he encourages having a happy journal. So we're very good at practicing feeling shit all the time. So anytime you tap a bad thing out and you have what you want, anytime you have a good experience, a good sleep, maybe a good cup of tea or a good memory, you make a happy journal. You put pictures, images, emotions, memories, what happened to you, and you keep that. So I think that's a good starting point for someone who's want to just start clearing the swamp.
And I know that a lot of people feel trapped, they feel powerless, and they feel like they are a victim of their circumstances. But we can both absolutely come forward and say to you that your reality is made up and based on your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And as soon as you start to replace negative feelings and negative emotions with positive feelings and emotions, like it's like night and day.
What basically Robert teaches, what you hold in your mind, you're going to get more of, you're going to attract more of it. So if you're holding anxiety, if you're holding, all these scary stories, then unfortunately it's just going to keep becoming more of. So if we tap that out, then we can start, how does Amanda actually want to feel? And we start exploring, that time she felt relaxed, that happy thing that happened, and then that chemically travels around your body as well.
Amazing. It's so fascinating. And that's Robert Smith, not of The Cure, not the
Robert G. Smith.
Robert G. Smith.
So good. I'm trying to manifest him right now to come to the UK, so
yes.
I'll let you know what's happening with that.
Brilliant.
Okay, I'll take you through the technique. So first of all, we're going to set an anchor. So all I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes and take some nice gentle breaths in and out.
And if anyone's watching this, feel free to join along with us.
Yeah. What I want you to do is I want you to think of a time. I want you to recall a memory, a time when you felt happy, maybe you felt safe, peace, a happy memory. And I want you to go back to that memory as if you were there right now. See what you've seen, hear what you heard, and feel how good it felt. Now, as you're experiencing these feelings, when they're at their strongest point, we're going to open our eyes, grab our wrists like this, and just take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Peace. Say the words peace.
Peace.
Now, I'd just like you to know that even just doing this alone will interrupt an old negative pattern. So if this is all you do, so if you're not in an environment that supports tapping in your face, just under the desk, breathe in, breathe out. Peace.
Peace. That's so
now,
powerful.
I know.
That feeling so, like, going back to a happy memory is just such,
Well, every time we drift into a memory, we're going into a hypnotic trance, good or bad.
Yeah, aren't we?
Yeah, keeping that very much alive. So when we drift back into the good space, we're sending that around our body. So again, this is so powerful, because if that's all you manage, you're already interrupting those little neural pathways to stop that old program from running. Do it 3 to 6 times and your little neurons will be like, oh, Iona doesn't want to do that anymore. Iona wants to do this. And it'll start to change and rewrite your brain. It's like incredible. So once we've set the anchor, then what I'm going to ask you to do is you can close your eyes to just eliminate the outside distractions, but I want you to go in and find a thing that you want to change. So it might be a memory, an experience, maybe somebody that's upset you. So it might be a feeling, it might be a craving, it could be anything, just something that you don't want. So if you go ahead and you access it.
So I'm going to pick sugar. I'm going to pick sugar because I've got a bit of a sweet tooth at the moment.
Right, so if you want to connect with that craving feeling, right? Yep. And just notice where it is in your body. So there'll be a feeling connected to it in your body, okay? And open your eyes, and we're just going to tap round on the points of the face. So we start in between the eye. I release and let this go.
I release and let this go.
Side of the eye. Safe to let this go.
It's safe to let this go.
Under the eye. Just let it go.
Just let it go.
Collarbone. I release and let it go.
I release and let it go.
Grab your wrists. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Peace.
Peace.
So you're interrupting that craving. The more you do it, the less power that craving has over you, because that wee craving's been strong because there's so many times you've followed into it. But I mean, you can say all kinds of things. So I release all trapped emotion, pain, self-doubt. You know, you can just, whatever you feel's connected to it, and then peace. So it's dead easy, it's dead hard to forget, and it's really got the potential actually to change your life. Like, it can tap out headaches, fears, literally anything. But I just say to people, try it. The best time to do it is when you're in the moment. So that anger's coming up,
feeling emotional or
whatever. The anxiety, because anxiety is just trapped energy in your body. So if you tap, I release and let this go, I release and let this go, then you're dissipating that. I could get into it more with the meridian points and all that sort of stuff, but
that's what it is, isn't it? Like, so when we get like acupuncture and stuff, like we have energy points like that are all around the body, and when we tap on them, we're basically just like, that's what's happening. We're kind of subconscious. We're using our conscious mind to like interrupt our subconscious.
And I feel so passionate about people need to get their stuff out. I would rather a crazy person shouting erratically, because if that stays inside, can you imagine? It just manifests and comes up in a different pair of shoes, much uglier later on down the line. So if we get it out, we do not want to be repressing anything.
No. And this is what I'd say to people, is that our physical ailments, problems, diseases, whatever, are actually manifestations of emotional and mental blockages when we have actually kept the energy in our bodies instead of being able to release it in a safe and in a safe way, such as tapping, which is just wonderful. So that was amazing. Thank you so much for that. I already feel like the cake's just not being an issue now, so I'm gonna keep doing that. But it's what this is lockdown, isn't it? It's just making me like, what can I do now? I'll have more snacks.
I'm actually fasting just now. I went jumped back in the wagon on last Monday, so I've been doing 20-hour fasts every day, and my energy's just off the scale. When I go back to it, I'm like, why did I stop for so long? It's so annoying, because the energy is just different class.
Yeah, you're big in your fasting. Like, how long have you been fasting for?
I think about 6 years, so I'm high into anything that we can do to cognitively enhance our brain is like my jam. So Dave Asprey is a biohacker, and I learned intermittent fasting, started with him, and I've studied it quite deeply with Thomas DeLure, Dr. Berg. Like, it's just, nothing beats it, to be honest, for your health. Mostly your brain. I do it for the brain. I don't really care about the rest.
Amazing. I love it, Amanda. So where can we find out more about you?
I am mostly present on Instagram, so Mrs. Brain Trainer, where I post stories all the time, and you'll find me on Apple Podcasts, Mrs. Brain Trainer, SoundCloud, Spotify. I've got a Facebook, but I don't use it. I find it very negative. I think Instagram's much more positive because you control what you see. So yeah, I would say Instagram mostly. And when the podcast comes out, whatever way you listen to your podcast, it's just going to be Mrs. Brain Trainer.
Love it. And you've got a website where people can actually contact you. And is your booking system thing still operational on your website? So if anyone wants to book a meeting with you, they can do that via what was your website? mrsbraintrainer.com.
The website's just Scotland's Brain Trainer. I'm going to actually get that changed over, I think. But currently it's Scotland's
Brain Trainer. Well, so I'll put a link to all that down underneath this video for anyone who wants to find out more about Amanda. And I would highly recommend, can't wait for your podcast. I'm so excited. It's like I'm going to be
I know you need to come on it.
Yes, I'd be so happy. I'd love to. Oh, Amanda, it's been so good chatting to you. Do you have any final thoughts before we close?
I just feel super proud and grateful for the people, the calibre of people that I keep in my life, like you and the group that you've created. Like, I literally, it's so valuable to have that type of people who are all in the same, we're all looking to improve, or like just looking to love life and enjoy it. It's so good, super amazing.
Yeah, it's all about who you're surrounded by, isn't it? Like, you can
show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Oh, absolutely. Who was it that said that again?
I've heard Dan Pena say it a lot.
Cool, amazing. Oh, brilliant, Amanda. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I think it's about time we get back outside in that sunshine while it's still here.
I know, I've got some work to do actually, so I'm going to sit in the garden.
Yes, amazing. Oh, thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Yay.
I'll speak to you soon.
Yes, let's absolutely catch up and have a virtual iced coffee.
As long as it's after 5 o'clock when I finish my fast.
Decaf for me then, in that case, otherwise I'll never sleep.
All righty then.
Brilliant. Right. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and please click on the links underneath this video to find out more information about Amanda. Have a great week, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.